from Savannah High School, Mr. Math Eng, giving you game plans and teaching you stats and probability so you can use it in the real world and while dominating in chess.
Let's go ahead and move on now to 1.11. Alright, here we're going to graph a quadratic function by using a table of values. A table of values. It's a chart. And our first example here says graph f of x equals x squared plus 2x minus 3. A couple things I want to point out is don't be intimidated by this f of x. That's just a fancy way of saying y. Okay, so the first thing I want us to do is to analyze, or a better word I think in math is to evaluate the function, kind of like we did in our warm-up. In order to do that, you're going to have to find your axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry. Remember that formula from the previous one? X equals negative b over 2a. Okay, this whole big idea here that we're learning is something called standard form of quadratics. Let's write that really big. Standard form. And why is that a big deal? Because there's a couple other forms we're going to learn, but I'm going to go ahead and write standard form right here, which was on the previous one. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And basically what I'm going to do here is figure out, well, a is in front of x squared. So that means a equals 1. It is the number in front of x squared. There is no number, it is not 0, because 0 times anything is 0, so it is a 1 there. A is equal to 1. Right here, b is equal to 2. It is the coefficient or number in front of x. And c value is 1 by itself here, that is a minus 3. So if it has a negative, then you have to include it. Okay, let's go ahead and find the axis of symmetry. So I'm going to have x equals my b value, which is 2, will go here. And then my c value, not c value, a value, which is 1, is going to go right there. Now, pay attention. It's right next to the 2. And then we could just simplify this. X equals 2 over 2, and 2 divided by 2 is just 1. Or when you cancel them, you can kind of say this is like a big 1 right there. So your answer is negative 1. Let's box our answers. The axis of symmetry is negative 1. Okay, that one was so important. So important, because now in step number 2 we're going to do something called graph the function. We're just going to graph it. And I need to point this out big time. X equals negative 1 goes into the middle of our chart. Everyone say middle. This is so important. Okay, the axis of symmetry is going to help you pick values bigger and smaller. So let's just make this a number line. And let's say this is negative 2, negative 3, and this would be 0 and 1. So the axis of symmetry helps me pick these other x coordinates. To graph the function, let's just write it up here. And we're just going to basically do what we did in our warm-up. We're going to evaluate our substitute. So let me give you a big idea here, okay? All these x values, we're going to basically do 5 mini problems, and every x value will be based on what's there on the left side. Does that make sense? So let's do the first one. We said negative 3. So negative 3 squared is 9. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And that's minus 3, so 9 minus 6 is 3, and 3 minus 3 equals 0. Okay, now pay attention. The 0 is the y value, or f of x. And the x number was what I highlighted over here. Does that make sense? So I have an ordered pair of negative 3, 0, and that's the number we were substituting. So my ordered pair is going to be negative 3, 0. Okay, let's do the next one. We said that every x value now is going to be what? What does it say over here? It says negative 2. So let's go ahead and substitute in negative 2. And we're kind of just basically doing 5 mini problems like we did in the warm-up. Negative 2 squared is negative 2 times negative 2, which is 4 minus 4 minus 3. 4 minus 4 is 0, so you're left with just negative 3. Now remember, this table of values is all contingent, or most important to know that the axis of symmetry is negative 1, because that tells us the middle of the numbers, and you will always pick at least 2 values above it and 2 values below it. Okay, let's do this one here. So now I have negative 1 squared plus, substituting with parentheses. Order of operations is simplify, so negative 1 squared is 1. Don't be shameful to use your calculator. It's okay. I'd rather use a calculator than make a mistake. But I definitely want you to know how to do it. 1 minus 2 is negative 1, and negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. Oops, I forgot to write the other value. So again, over from here, that's negative 2, and over here, it's from negative 1. Hopefully you're getting the hang of this. All right, in the parentheses, now we're putting 0. How did I get 0? Because that's the number over here, and it's a number next to the axis of symmetry. We always love 0. 0 squared is 0. 2 times 0 is 0, minus 3. So now I have negative 3. So that would be an ordered pair of 0, comma, negative 3. And our last one, 1. Let's go ahead and substitute in 1 here. So I have 1 squared plus 2 times 1 minus 3. 1 squared is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3, and 3 minus 3 equals 0. So my order pair is going to be 1, comma, 0. Okay, so that's how you graph a quadratic function in standard form, get to order pairs. And let's go ahead and graph this now. Okay, let's graph this one over here in black. So again, you have your x's, and this over here, the y-axis is like your f of x. Remember, that's just a fancy way of saying y. So my order pair is negative 3, 0. So if you've never graphed before, you'll notice on the graph over there, the x values are left to right, and f of x, or the y-axis, is just up or down, right? X goes this way, and y values go that way, okay? So for the first order pair, I'm going to say negative 3, comma, 0. That means I have to go left or right. Well, negative is to the left. And then 0 means just stay. So there's my first order pair in black, negative 3, comma, 0. Okay, 2, 3. Negative 2, negative 3 is negative 2 on the x-axis. So that means left 2 this way. And then negative 3 means, is it up or down? Well, negative values are down, so it would be right here. Okay, so we did this one. Now let's do this green one. Negative 1, 4. So negative 1 on the x-axis, so that would be left 1, and then negative 4 would mean down 4, so right there. And then let's do the blue one, 0, negative 3, so I would, on the x-axis, it's at 0, and then you're going to go down negative 3. And the last one, 1, comma, 0, so that'll be right 1, and then stay, or 0 on the y-axis, okay? Let's pick a nice color. How about? And remember, this is not a v. That's a different function. This is a parabola. It's meant to be smooth, which I didn't do a great job of. Okay, one thing I want to point out is the axis of symmetry, the middle one. And what's important is you know, you can see that my graph's kind of being folded on that axis of symmetry. You're folding your taco or something like that, right? And then we already did step 3 basically. Oh, this part says analyze the graph, because the second part of it tells us state the domain and range. Okay, so quickly, domain is another way of saying your x values. What x values can I pick? And you go from, I say a phrase, left to right, left to right. The range is your y values. And I want you to go from bottom to top, bottom to top. Okay? And I'm going to show you guys this with inequalities. Inequalities. Okay, so I'm going to use my highlighter. That's fine. Let's pick a different color. Let's pick orange. And you're just looking, does the graph have it? Yes or no? Are there x values over here? The answer is yes. The reason why is that arrow will keep making the graph go up. So there are values there. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, even over here, there is x values, or the graph is there because the arrow is going up. So basically you can pick what? All numbers. So, whoops. So the domain, we would say, is all real numbers. I can pick every x value, and the graph, you can get a graph. So even over here, 4, or somewhere on the x values of 4, is there a graph up here? There is, because remember I said this graph's going to keep going up. It's going to touch it, so. Okay. The range, as you see, it says bottom to top. So let's go ahead and try this. So I'm going from the bottom. Okay, pay attention. There is no yellow graph. There is no yellow graph. There is no yellow graph. Okay, right here is where the graph starts. Okay, look at the y number line, the f of x. You see that it's touching that number line at -4. Is there a graph? Yes. Is there a graph? Is there a graph? Yeah, is there a graph? Yes, there's a graph, there's a graph, there's a graph. So starting at -4, and when the values were what? Bigger or smaller than -4? When the y values, when the, so the range is when the y values were at -4, -3, -2, those are bigger or greater than or equal to -4. It's an equals to because it's a closed circle, which means any point on the graph is a solution. If you want to get super fancy, I'm going to write here in black, we have something called set builder notation. And just in this set, your variable is y, such as that y is greater than or equal to -4. That basically is saying that all of my answers for the graph on the y-axis will always be -4 or more. So you should never get a value such as -1, -5 as a solution, because it doesn't touch the graph. All right, so that was our introductory problem. You must have filled that out. And let's look down here. This one says graph each function, then state the domain and range, and complete a minimum of 3 problems. Complete a minimum of 3 problems. Go ahead and pick your 3, then cross them off, and then if you want to see me do them all, go ahead and press play, or you can kind of fast forward it to move to the problem you want. Okay, so we're graphing these problems in standard form, and you'll notice that standard form basically means you can find your A, B, and C. So let's go ahead and do that. You can write standard form above it. What is this? This is one of our 3 forms, and so it's standard. Here I got A equals 1, B is 6, and C equals 8. I'm always going to write down my formula for the axis of symmetry, that is x equals -b over 2a. I'm going to do my substitutions here. So A is equal to 1. My B value is positive 6. So then this is going to give me 2 times 1 is 2, so I got negative 6 divided by 2, and then you get negative 3. So then if you make your table of values, just like we did above, so this is x, this is my function, and then this is the ordered pair. Right? The most important is the axis of symmetry will go in the middle. Okay? Not here, not here, no, no. This one in the middle. That is very specific. You must have that. Okay, now you need to fill it in. So numbers that are higher. And you can just look at what we did before. You can say negative 4, negative 5, negative 2, negative 1. Okay? And if you pick consecutive numbers, meaning you don't skip, you just add 1 or subtract 1 from negative 3, you're going to get something very nice on your graph. Okay, we said that basically all of these x values are going to go right here. Every time I see x, every time I see x in that column, you're going to write that. Okay, so let's do the first one. So I have negative 5. That f of negative 5, you don't really do anything. You just need to simplify over here. So this will be negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. Positive 6 times negative 5 is negative 30 plus 8. So 25 minus 30 is negative 5. Negative 5 plus 8 will give me a 3. And so I will get the coordinate negative 5 comma 3. Okay, let's do negative 4. Negative 4 squared plus 6 times negative 4 plus 8. Negative 4 squared is 16 minus 24 plus 8. So I'll get minus 8 plus 8. That'll give me 0. Negative 4 comma 0. All right. Negative 3. Substitute it in here. Every time I have that green, I'm replacing it with the x value of negative 3. Negative 3 squared is 9 minus 18 plus 8. So 9 minus 18 is negative 9. Negative 9 plus 8 is negative 1. So negative 3 comma negative 1. We're going to do the same thing over here. So I have negative 2 squared plus 6 times negative 2 plus 8. Every x value we're making negative 2. Negative 2 squared is 4 minus 12 plus 8. And 4 minus 12 is negative 8. And negative 8 plus 8 is 0. So that would be negative 2. And the last one would be negative 1 squared plus 6 times negative 1 plus 8. So 1 minus 6 plus 8, this would be 1 minus 6 is negative 5. Negative 5 plus 8 gives me 3. And if you notice something, that if you find the axis of symmetry, you'll notice that in my last column there, all of the order pairs that are blue are what? The y values are the same. And in the black ones, there the y value is the same as 0. So let's go ahead and graph this now. Negative 5, 3. Left 5 on the x-axis, 3 on the y. There's my blue. Black, negative 4, 0. Left 4, stay. Negative 3, 1. Left 3, down 1. Black, negative 2, 0. And negative 1, 3. Left 3, up 1, because the y value 3 there is positive. And this is our graph. Okay, to double check yourself, let me go ahead and show you guys graphing calculator. Alright, I'm going to go y equals in the top left. Clear that. Okay, my trick for getting x squared is just typing xx. Now don't use, if you see letters on the bottom, you want to go next to alpha. The green button, Aaron says x. So x times x means x squared, so go ahead and type that in. Plus 6x plus 8. And you can go to something called your table, so it's above the up key, so second, no, I don't have to press second, just press table. Okay, mine, I have something, so you can change it, so second table, and you can highlight auto if you want, since they're whole numbers, and then go back to table. Oh, I know why, let's go back, sorry. Okay, so you go back to table, basically, I don't know if you guys recognize just what happened. It has all the answers. Whoa, the calculator already has it. And if you just press graph, watch this. Whoa, that's the graph that we graphed. And watch this, if you touch the point, whoa, it tells you all the order pairs, right? Like, this is not a fun order pair. It is a solution, negative 2.8 and 6.35, but it's easier if it just goes through a point like that. That's like negative 1, 3. Does that make sense? Whoa, negative 2, 0. Negative 3, 1. So quick ways for you to check your answers. It's not to copy, but for you to know it. Okay, question number. All right, let's go over question number 2. Graphing quadratics in the standard form. I'm going to find our A, B, and C values so I can find the axis of symmetry. I'm going to write standard form right above it. There is no number, that means it's going to be a 1, negative 1. B is negative 2, and C is 2. My axis of symmetry formula, x equals negative b all over 2a. Alright, let's just put that in there. So I like my negative sign and same line with the fraction and then vertically, so negative 2 over 2 times your a value, which is negative 1. So this becomes negative 2 over negative 2, and that equals just 1. So x equals negative 1. Okay, that means when I create my table, do that one for the formula. Uh-oh, ran out of space. Hopefully it doesn't go in there. So that's my x value. Here is the formula. And here's my order pair. And what's most important is taking this value here, x equals negative 1, and put it into this box. Notice how it's in the middle. There's 2 boxes above and below, and then you just fill that in. So what goes above negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, or you can choose 0 and 1. You just go in this direction, so it doesn't matter. And remember, all of these numbers are going to go here, 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 and here. So let's do the first problem. Whoops. So we're going to put in a f equals negative 3. So every x value is negative 3. Do you notice how to put that subtraction sign, negative sign on the outside there? And then order of operations here. Pay attention. This one's going to be negative 3 squared, which is 9, positive 9, and the opposite is negative 9. You do not distribute the negative 1 there. Okay, negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6 plus 2. So negative 9 plus 8 equals a negative 1. So I have a negative 1 when it was negative 3. All right, let's do negative 2. Negative 2 squared is 4, and the opposite of 4 is negative 4. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, plus 2. These will, negative 4, positive 4 is 0, so you're just left with 2. So my order pair is negative 2, 2. All right, let's go ahead and put in here negative 1. Forget that negative sign. So I have negative 1 squared is positive 1, so negative 1. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2, and positive 2, so negative 1 plus 2 gives me positive 3. So negative 1, 3. And let's put in 0. Zero squared is 0, opposite of 0 is 0. 0 times negative 2 is 0. And so you're just left with 2. So that would be 0, 2. And the last one, 1. So 1 squared is 1, opposite of 1 is negative 1, negative 2 plus 2. So these will cancel, and you're left with negative 1. Let's go ahead and graph these. Negative 3, negative 1, so left 3, down 1. Purple. Negative 2, up 2. And I'm going to do this one, because I have my purple pencil out. 0 on the x-axis, 2 on the y. Negative 1, 3, so left 1, up 3. And 1, negative 1, right 1, down 1. There is our parabola. This is our axis of symmetry, and let's figure out the domain. And if you've learned the trick, left to right, if you just have 2 arrows, there's an arrow, there's an arrow, so you have all x values. So all real numbers. So basically, as you're going left to right, there's 2 arrows. It's always going to be all real numbers. We can always put in something here. Okay, for the range, just write down the vertex order pair, and then you'll kind of see this negative 1, positive 3, and there's something down here as the arrows, which means there's always numbers down here. But it stops right here on the y-axis at 3. So is the graph getting greater, going to the greater numbers of y value on the y number line, or less than? So that would be what? Less than or equal to 3. All right. Question number 3. We got our ABCs. And then we're going to get our axis of symmetry. X equals negative b over 2a. And we're going to substitute those in. So negative 4 goes here. And then a is 2. So we're going to get negative 4 over 4. Negative 4 divided by positive 4 is negative 1. Opposite of negative 1 is positive 1. Okay, super important for us because we make our table of values. Do I have too many there? I think I have too many. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Too many. Just erase that one. Boom. Okay, so I have my x. I have my formula, or my function here. And then the order pair. Okay, put your finger on where the x equals 1 goes. It's going to go into this box right here. Why this box? It is the middle of your points. So you can go up or down from here. So 3, 2, 1, 0, and negative 1. You want consecutive integers, just basically means you're counting there. And then we're going to do this multiple times. So from here, you're just taking all of your x values and you're putting them in here. Function notation you don't really need. So let's go ahead and do this one. So 3, so 2 times 3 squared minus 4 times 3 plus 3. Remember, do not do 2 times 3. Why? Because you see it and you're tempted, but order of operations tells you the rules. So that's really 3 squared, which is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12 plus 3. So I have 18 minus 12 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9 is our answer. Whoops! Do you see my mistake? 9 should not go there. That should go for your output or your answer. X was in orange, so that'd be 3, 9. Alright, let's go ahead and try 2 now. Remember, every time put in parentheses, order of operations, parentheses exponent, so 2 squared is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. And 8 minus 8 is 0, so I'm just left with 3. 2 is my orange color, and then 3 is my answer, f of x. Okay, let's do this middle one here. Remember, that's essentially just f of 1, but you don't have to write it every time. 2 times 1 squared minus 4 times 1, because we're replacing it with your x equals 1. 1 squared is 1. 1 times 2 is 2 minus 4 plus 3. So negative 2 plus 3 gives me positive 1. So my order pair is going to be 1, comma 1. I got 2 times 0 squared minus 4 times 0 plus 3. 0 squared is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. Negative 4 times 0 is 0. So I'm just left with 3. 0, comma 3. And the last one, negative 1. 2 times negative 1. And remember, every x value, we're now writing negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. What did I just say? Negative 1 squared is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. Negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4 plus 3. So 2 plus 4 plus 3, that would be 6. That would be 9. So I'll get negative 1, comma 9. Let's go ahead and get our pencil. 3, 9. Don't have it on the graph. That's bad. Okay, so let's extend it. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So 3, 9. 2, 3. Right. 2 up 3. 1, 1. 0, 3. And the points should be symmetrical. Right? So 1, 2, left 1, up 2, but it gives you to the same point. And then black negative 1, 9. Left 1, up 9. So here's my graph. I need darker color. And again, my trick is just to write this 1, 1 here. And so the domain is, remember, you're going left to right. A little bit kind of crazy, but I'll just draw these lines. And the first thing is you hit an arrow, and in this direction you hit another arrow. That means it's all real numbers. Again, that basically means you can pick any x value and put it into our function. Okay, the range, now we're going from bottom to top, And look at the y number line. Nothing, 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 right there. You're starting at 1. Yep, and it keeps going till forever with the arrows, right? So y is greater than or equal to 1. I got 1 because the graph's starting right here, and it's greater than because it's going above to bigger numbers, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Let's do number 4. Okay, this one's a little bit tricky in that there's a bunch of stuff missing. So you can just write, look, watch, write standard. You have stuff missing, so just write zeros. See that? And then you can just quickly identify your values. A is -2, B is 0, and C is 0. All right, my B value is 0, and my A value is -2. So I have 0 divided by -4. 0 divided by any number is 0. The opposite of 0 is 0. So x equals 0. Whoa, that was cool. Sorry. Oh, cool. Wait, let's see. Oh, it makes straight lines. Sorry. Okay. Let's make a table of values. See? Oh, that's so cool. I learned if I hold it down, it makes like straight lines. Oh! Sorry, I got so excited. Oh, my notes are gonna look so much better. My lines are gonna look so much better, guys. Are you excited? And let's draw one right there. That's so cool. Alright, f of x equals -2x squared. And over here, it's kind of tight, but it's the order pair. Okay, so put your finger on where that value should go. This one should go in the middle here. Why? This box right here, there's 2 above and 2 below. You want it to be in the middle. So I have, let's see, what's the numbers going above it? Doesn't really matter. You can do like 1 and 2, so you can count down 2, 1, 0, -1, -2. And all the x values you're going to put in right there and right here. You could put into the f of x, not wrong. All right, let's see what we got. F of 2 equals -2 times x, which is 2 squared. Don't forget your PEMDAS. So 2 squared is 4, and 4 times -2 is -8. So my answer is -8, and I put in input of 2. 2 comma -8. All right, let's do 1 here. F of 1 equals -2 times 1 squared. And 1 squared is 1. 1 times -2 is -2. So that's my answer. 1 comma -2. Remember that x value right is inside right there. And that's why it goes right there. Okay, so now we're putting in 0. F of 0 equals -2 times 0 squared. Order of operations says do the x ones first. So 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times negative 2 is 0. So I have 0, 0. And we're going to put in a negative 1 here for every x value. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Remember, don't have any shame. Use your calculator. So I have negative 1, negative 2. And then the last one in blue here, I have a f equal f of negative 2. This is going to be negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So I have negative 2, negative 8. All right, let's go to our drawings here. So 2, negative 8. Okay, so if you do what I did, I messed up. And I don't have, I'm so happy, and draw straight. Okay, so 5, 6, 7, 8. That one's negative 8. Okay, so 2, negative 8, write 2, then down 8, because the y value is negative. And then I have 1, negative 2, so write 1 down 2. 0, 0 is the origin, so you stay right in the middle. And then left 1 down 2. And then left 2 down 8. Whoops. And then pick colors, pick red. Okay, our domain, remember, is left to right. Nothing, nothing. Arrow, that means all the numbers to the left. Keep going. Arrow again, that means numbers to the right, and that's all we're concerned about. It doesn't matter if it's up or down, so this would be all numbers, all real numbers. I could pick any real number, put it into my function, and I'm going to get an answer. Oops. Okay, the range is going from the bottom to top. So I have nothing, but essentially you do have, the arrows keep going down forever. So that means there's numbers down here, but we're going to stop where? On the y-axis. That is 0. So our numbers are going to be y and 0, and the numbers greater than or above, or are they below and negative? They are below, so they'll be less than or equal to. It's equals because it's a closed circle, which means include that solution. All right, let's do number 5. Put standard form right above it. There's no number, it's a 1, so A is 1, B is negative 4, and C is 4. And I have my axis of symmetry, which is x equals negative b over 2a. My a value is 1. And my b value, negative 4. Okay, let's simplify this. So negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2, and the opposite of negative 2 is positive 2. Let's build our handy dandy chart. So excited to learn how to draw straight lines. My mother would be proud of me. Doot. 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 Those are handmade sounds. Doot. 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 And that's our x value. Then you have the function here. Did you guys know about functions? They are fun. Okay. Alright, most important, where does that number go? Where does this number go? Right in the middle, which is right here. So I have 2 boxes above, 2 below. You can count up or down, does not matter. Let's count up and then down. And if you want to highlight, these are the numbers. So all your x values will go everywhere there's x. Okay, why did I not do it on the far right column? Remember, f of x is the same thing as your y values. So you could just say y equals all that stuff. If that kind of messes you up or helps you, then use it. Okay, substitutions we put in with parentheses. Feel free to use a calculator. 4 squared is 16. Negative 4 times 4 is negative 16 plus 4. So that equals 0, and we're just left with 4. So my order pair is going to be 4, comma 4, because our x value is 4, and my y value, or my output, or my answer is 4. Okay, let's do 3. Feel free to use a calculator. 3 squared is 9, minus 12 plus 4. So 9 minus 12 is negative 3. Negative 3 plus 4 is positive 1. My answer is 3, comma 1. All right, let's do 2. 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 4. Replacing all the x values with 2 because it has 2 over here. And 2 squared is 4. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8 plus 4. So negative 4 plus 4 is 0 as my answer. What did I have to put in there for x? That was 2. And I have 1 squared. 1 minus 4 plus 4. So negative 4 plus 4 is 0, so you're just left with 1. My answer is 1, comma 1. My x value is 1. My answer was 1. And the easiest one is 0, because most of it will go away. Okay, 0 squared is 0. Negative 4 times 0 is 0 plus 4, so I get 0, comma 4. Let's graph it. So 4, 4, right 4, up 4. 3, 1, right 3 on the x-axis, up 1 because it's positive. Whoops, see, didn't pay attention there. Then my purple color, right 2, stay, or 2, 0. Uh-oh, see, here's a mistake. No, it's not. Right 1, up 1. If it's not have a parabola, then something's wrong. And then 0, 4. Let's go ahead and draw my parabola here. That's my graph. And then we can answer the domain. Domain is the x values are going left to right. Nothing, nothing, arrow to another arrow, which means the graph keeps going towards the right. So if it goes all the numbers to the left and all the numbers to the right, then it is all real numbers. Interval notation, that would have been negative numbers to positive numbers. We would have written something like this: left to right, left to right. All right, let's go ahead and erase all this. And the range. Range goes from bottom to top. There is nothing, 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 nothing. And we start there. Go back to the y-axis, which is 0. And the numbers, or the graph, is above on the y number line, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be greater than or equals to is your answer. If you wanted to know interval notation, you would start at, turn your head sideways, it's starting at 0, which is a bracket, which means include, and then you're going up, which is all the positive numbers, which we call infinity. So that's what the interval notation would look like for the range. And question number 6, x squared minus 6x plus 8. Make sure that's correct, because it's pretty much the same problem as the first one, but that's okay. All right, so I have standard form. So that's what we've been doing, the big idea. A is 1. It's a number. It's never a letter. B is -6. Okay, I know a student gets it wrong because they write like a variable like -6x. That would be wrong. And C is 8. Okay, axis of symmetry. X equals -b/2a. B is -6. A value is 1. Let's put in everything else. So x equals negative the fraction line and then the 2. So this will read -6 divided by 2 is -3. Opposite of -3 is +3. Let's go ahead and make our table, which I'm excited for because now I know how to draw straight lines. Boop. 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 Do you like my sound effects? Those were handmade or came from me. F of x, writing the function here. And then the order pair. X, f of x. Okay, so most important is this number. It goes right here in the middle, always. Why is that important to us? Because it actually tells us what kind of numbers to pick from here. I think it's easiest just putting that number in the middle and then counting numbers by 1. So 4, 5. So it's counting by ones. Okay, so all these x values you're going to put in here and here. You can put in the f of x value, but I don't want you to get confused on those. So let's go ahead and just do a substitution. Okay, so x value is 5. So 5 squared is 25 minus 30 plus 8. So -5 plus 8 is 3 is my answer. The x value you put in there is 5. 5 comma 3 is our answer. Here we're going to put in 4 for our x value. 4 squared is 16 minus 24 plus 8. 16 minus 24 is -8. -8 plus 8 is 0 is my answer. And 4 was the input. 3 squared minus 6 times 3 plus 8. 9 minus 18 plus 8. I get -9 plus 8, which is -1. And what are we doing? Going back to green. I don't know if you guys noticed the color coding. I'm doing this on a specific reason. The reason is so that it kind of matches when you graph it. You'll see. So 2 squared is 4 minus 12 plus 8. So -8 plus 8 is 0. So 2 comma 0. And if you notice, my green answers there on the far right, the zeros for y-axis are the same for 2 and 4 because they are reflective. Ah, that's why. And 1 squared minus 6 times 1 plus 8. 1 minus 6 plus 8. So that's -5 plus 8, which is 3. So 1 comma 3 is my answer. Let's go ahead and graph that. 5, 3, so right on the 5 on the x-axis, and then 3, up 3 on the y-axis. 4, 0, so right 4 on the x, then stay. Right 3, down 1. Right 3 from the origin, down 1. Right 2, stay, because it's 0 on the y-axis. And last one, right one up 3. Got a graph right here. Let's do the domain. Okay, although there's nothing over here on these graphs, you will touch an arrow and you will go to this arrow. So everything that has the arrow basically says you can pick any x value. Any x value. So domain is all real numbers. And then the range goes from bottom to top, nothing, nothing, nothing right there. So your y value is at -1. Notice how the graph is now going to greater numbers. So greater than or equal to -1 is my answer. And that's how you complete graph the function, state the domain and range, and we completed a minimum of 3. Hopefully you picked your 3.